Hello creators and creative friends, welcome to this channel. In my previous videos, I shared two ways to improve character consistency in Flux.2 Klein. The first approach uses custom nodes that tweak the conditioning string. The second one relies on two powerful lorers. Both methods work well, but they can slip up when you are working with multiple reference images. That's why today I'm excited to share something new. This approach goes deeper and directly influences how the Flux.2 Klein model behaves. Because of that, it handles multiple reference images much more reliably. I'll also walk you through a smarter way to chain several reference images together. All the workflows in this video are completely free, and you can grab them through the link in the description below. Now let's jump into Config and look at the workflows I built for you. Just a heads up, I didn't use Running Hub for this one. Some custom nodes were updated just a few days ago, and Running Hub hasn't added them to their servers yet. Let me start with the simplest scenario, where we only use one reference image. Here's our simple uploaded image. A woman sitting on stairs. We want Flux.2 Klein to edit this image while keeping the character looking the same. Our prompt is, change her pose to one where she's wearing a hat, sitting at a bus stop in Paris. If you've used Flux.2 Klein before, this setup will look familiar. You've got your reference latent node, CFG guider, sampler custom advanced, and Flux.2 scheduler. To boost character consistency, there's just one extra node you need to add. It's called Flux.2 Klein Identity Feature Transfer. This node comes with plenty of parameters, and honestly it can look overwhelming at first glance. But here's the thing, in most cases, you only really need to pay attention to the preset control. This setting decides how strongly the reference image should be preserved. There are three main presets to choose from: medium lock, hard lock, and soft lock. Pick any of these and it automatically overrides all the manual settings underneath. So you don't need to worry about double schedule, double seam, or commit anchor at all. Of course, if you are comfortable tweaking this manually, you can always set the preset to custom. The node author has a detailed breakdown of each setting on his GitHub page. If you want to geek out on the technical details, definitely check it out. I've dropped that link in the description too. For this sampler, I've set the preset to medium lock. To show you how the other presets behave, I've added extra samplers to generate comparison images. In this group over here, I've selected hard lock. And in this other group, I've gone with soft lock. For baseline comparison, the last group doesn't use the Identity Feature Transfer node at all. Let's take a look at what these different setups produced. I've stitched all the output images together so we can compare them side by side. Each one has a label at the top for easy reference. Here's our original uploaded portrait. The one marked no lock means I skipped the Identity Feature Transfer node entirely in that group. Right away, you can spot some anatomy errors in that image. The bench at the bus stop looks off too. Now let's look at the medium lock results. Almost everything looks clean here. The pose feels similar to the original without being an exact copy. That's a sweet spot for most edits. Moving on to hard lock. The pose stays extremely close to the original. Since I actually asked for a pose change in the prompt, her hand gesture did shift slightly, and that caused some weirdness. Plus, part of the basket from the original portrait somehow snuck into this image, which is pretty strange. So keep this in mind. Hard lock can occasionally cause these kinds of issues. My advice? Start with medium lock first. Only bump it up to hard lock if the identity feels too weak. And don't forget about soft lock if your reference is copying too much and distorting the results, or if things just look off. That's your go-to option. If we zoom in on the details, there's something interesting to notice. With soft lock, her feet and shoes kind of melt together. This error looks pretty similar to what we saw in the no lock image. That really drives home an important point. Getting the identity lock right isn't just about keeping the character consistent. It also helps prevent those annoying anatomy errors that can ruin an otherwise great image. Okay, now that we've covered the single reference image scenario, let's step things up and tackle multiple reference images. In this workflow, I'm using 4 different reference images. The first is a portrait of a woman. The second shows the t-shirt. The third is a skirt. And the fourth provides a background. The prompt reads, photorealistic luxury fashion editorial of a stylish woman in a tropical resort walkway wearing a white graphic t-shirt and a floral skirt. Chaining these many reference images normally requires stacking a bunch of reference-laden nodes, which gets messy fast. That's where this NKD Klein pre-sampling node comes in. It really streamlines the whole chaining process. As you can see here, I've connected all the 4 reference images through this single node using the ports labeled ref0 through ref3. The nice thing is we can still add the identity feature transfer node right before this pre-sampling node. This one is set to medium lock again, and just like before, I've also tested hard lock and soft lock for comparison. When working with multiple references, you can use the reference index settings to pick which specific reference image to prioritize. There's also a subject mask port if your reference contains multiple subjects and you want to isolate one. You'd cover your subject with a mask and plug it in there. Fair warning though, this didn't work in my testing. Feel free to experiment yourself, and if you crack it, definitely let me know in the comments. Alright, let's check out the comparison results for this multi-reference setup. This time around, Hardlock actually delivered the best result. The post lines up almost perfectly with the original portrait. And that wraps up everything for today. Don't forget to grab the free workflow through the link below and give it a spin yourself. If you're hungry for more premium workflows, consider joining our community to support the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.